we welcome you here to West Valley City Council's regularly scheduled council meeting. We note that we have all council members in attendance. Tonight I have the opening ceremony, but before we begin with that, and as a part of our opening ceremony, recently there was a West Valley resident who serves as a police officer who lost his life, Officer Barney, in the last couple of days. And so, to begin with, we would like to start off with a moment of silence. We would invite you to stand with us and participate in that for Officer Barney. Thank you very much. You may be seated. In conjunction with that, for our opening ceremony tonight, I wanted to share with you on Sunday, they've begun a tradition here at the Granger Christian Church of celebrating Martin Luther King Day. And they have invited me a couple of times to come and participate there. And as a part of that, and in thinking about individuals, I wanted to share with you a few comments that I made there. You know, we've made great progress in our country in the area of human rights, of making sure that all of our citizens are equal. If we look back in the history of the world, there are many places where the rights of some individuals were not only trampled upon, but were considered essentially worthless. Different types of groups were singled out, and depending upon where you go in the world, and some of those are not history, they are current. For example, some of the history ones we remember from World War II. Germany felt that their race was superior and others were so inferior that there was nothing wrong with literally killing millions of people. The same was true in Japan, for the Japanese considered themselves a superior race to all other Oriental races. In Russia, they considered Christians, in fact any religion, as being not worthwhile, and anyone who disagreed with their politics, and they were murdered by the millions. We wish that weren't the case today, but in many areas of the world, women are considered inferior and literally are treated not as human beings, but more along the line of domesticated animals. And so in our world, there are still many problems. In our nation, we have taken the position of that you cannot discriminate against people because of race, color, religion, national origin, age, gender, citizenship, and other items. And so we've made great progress. But I call to mind a few other classifications that, interestingly enough, are still causing in our society a lack of human rights. Language. And I don't necessarily mean a different language, but if someone speaks poorly. Politics. We have become a nation where belonging to the opposing political party is immediate justification for classifying you as uneducated and not thinking the right way. It even goes so far as education. Those who do not have the means to possess a college degree or some sort of education. And certainly social class, wealth, even where you live, being on the wrong side of the tracks, you are immediately branded as being less. And the last one I would mention, which ties into our moment of silence, in our nation, we are starting to see that belonging to a certain profession is immediate justification that makes you something less than a normal human being. Fortunately, that is not across our society, but we see that in that individuals feel no concern to kill a policeman and to take an individual who is a next door neighbor, who is a family person, and to take their life without any thought of the consequences. Yes, we've come a long way. Yes, we still have need for a lot more that we need to do. But I am grateful to live in West Valley City. I call it now Utah's melting pot because we have so many cultures and so many groups here, and they are integrating seamlessly into our society. We still have work to do in West Valley too, but it is good to be in a city where we can live some of the dreams of being truly equal from all races, all professions, all genders, and live in harmony together as a single community. That is my opening ceremony for this evening. With that completed, we have some special recognitions. We have, let's see, I'm assuming there are two different groups of Cub Scouts here. And what we would invite for you to do is to have one of your young men come up and do three things. Tell us your troop number, your, I guess, pack number. Been too long since I've been in Cub Scouts. Why you're here today, what you're working on, and third, where you go to school. Is that okay? As someone, do you have like a patrol leader or someone who's going to do that? Let's start right here with this group. And I'll coach you along, so it's okay. You have to come up to this microphone right here. Your troop number, why you're here tonight, and where you go to school.
Okay, my troop number is 3567.
Okay.
And we are here to watch the meeting and to get our badge for all that stuff. And I go to Neil Armstrong Academy.
Are all of you from Neil Armstrong? What are the other schools?
Navigator Point Academy.
Okay, thank you very much. Now this group.
We are pack 3947, and we are here so we can pass off one of the requirements so we can get our Rebels badge or Arrow of Light. And I go to Calvin Smith Elementary, but I'm pretty sure all of them go to a different one.
What's that different one? Do you know? Yes, just speak up.
Beacon Heights.
Beacon Heights.
APA.
Okay, APA.
Valley Crest.
Valley Crest, boy.
Valley Crest.
That covered all of them?
Silver Hills.
Copper Hills. Silver Hills, okay. Not only could I not hear him, I can't even see him, so he's just behind the corner of the dais there. Well, thank you very much for coming tonight. We're always glad to have you here. As you can see, not a lot of people come. You picked a good evening. I don't think we have a a long meeting, but we'll have, I think, an interesting one. Next item on our agenda are the approval of our minutes from our regular meeting of January 5th and our special meeting of January 5th.
Mayor, I would move for approval of the minutes of our regular meeting for January 5th, 2016. Okay, we want to do both at the same time? We'll do the special meeting at the same date, same time.
Yeah, let's do them both.
Second the motion.
Second the motion. Any discussion? Because if there's a problem, we can always modify the motion, but I think that I haven't heard any concerns with the minutes. Seeing no further discussion, place the motion for a vote. All in favor of approving the two sets of minutes from our regular meeting and special meeting from January 5th, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes unanimously. We have now next a comment period, and apparently no one signed up. Anyone can come and speak on any subject they want, input from the public, but it appears that there is not anyone. And unless someone jumps up, why, we'll say, okay, there's no public comment. Any comments from our city manager?
No, sir, thanks.
City council members, any comments? Okay, next on our agenda are ordinances. We have ordinance 16-03. Excuse me. Get my electronic caught up here with this. There we go. So this is resolution 16, or excuse me, ordinance 1603 is to amend a section of our code regarding application fees for excavation permits by water and sewer districts. The purpose of this was to formalize a process. In the past, we had essentially traded work. We would work it out between us, and it was decided that perhaps it would be better to make it very clear as to the costs and who was doing what, that we would formalize that and actually reciprocate that work. We were doing some work for Granger Hunter Improvement District. They were doing some things for us in hookups. And so we've decided that it is better to have that defined and paid back and forth so that it's clear to each organization. That is the issue before us. And I would add to that, for the benefit of you coming here tonight, this is not the first time we have discussed these. We discussed each of these items in a previous council meeting. We did these on the 6th of January in a study meeting where we have the opportunity to ask questions and clarify things. So sometimes we don't ask a lot of questions because we've already addressed it. But we do it in front of us traditionally twice, and then in this meeting, the second time, we will take formal action. With that introduction then, we turn to the council for any comments or motions.
Mayor, I would move for approval of ordinance 1603.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. It's properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we'll turn to our city recorder for a vote.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ling,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Norfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We next go to resolutions, and we begin with resolution 16-09. This is to approve an interlocal agreement. We have to have a signed contract in conjunction with this for Granger Hunter Improvement District, and this is just another part of what we just covered. This is the resolution to cover those that agreement. So with that introduction, we'll turn to the council for comments or motion.
Mayor, I move for approval of resolution 1609.
Second. We have a motion and a second that's properly before us for the interlocal agreement. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, we'll turn to our city recorder for a vote.
Councilman Norfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, now we go to Resolution 16-10. This is to authorize the execution agreement between West Valley City and the Utah and Salt Lake Canal Company to, this is conjunction with the Mountain View Corridor, with some work that is going on there that has to be taken care of. And it gives, let's see, I believe it releases their portion of their easement under 4100 South to us, and in turn gives the canal company license to go in and maintain that crossing and work through that with the city's right-of-way. That is the item before us. With that introduction then, to the council for comment or motion.
Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution 16-10.
Second.
Motion is properly before us. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, then we'll turn to our city recorder for a vote.
Councilman Vincent,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hume,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, there is no need here for a motion for an executive session. That completes our agenda. Any final comments from the council? Okay, seeing no further comments, one last motion and we'll finish our business.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes unanimously. We are adjourned.